Now, Errol Spence and Terence Crawford started the New Year's how they supposed to, with some smoke action, at least verbally, not physically for the moment. Now, Errol Spence earlier today, he came out and stated on Twitter, and I quote, "Y'all can believe whatever y'all want to believe, but I ain't ducking nothing," end quote by Errol Spence. He also responded to Terence Crawford's sister, I believe. She asked him, well, make the fight happen. And Errol Spence responded by stating, that goes both ways. Then, not too long after, Terence Crawford came out on Twitter and blasted Errol Spence, stating, and I quote, "Keep defending him, because I'm telling all of y'all now, and I mean what I say when that day come, when I knock him out, all I want all of y'all to keep that same energy, because he gonna cry in the car. He wasn't built for this shit. I got over here, just watch me show the world," end quote. And those are bold words by Terence the Bug Crawford. He also stated on another tweet, "And stop using the fucking promoters, managers, and advisors for that weak ass excuse y'all doing. They work for us, y'all dumb MFs," and I believe he meant what y'all doing. I feel like that was a misspell. However, I'm going to continue reading his quote. "For that weak ass excuse, what y'all doing? They work for us, y'all dumb MFs. If you really want to fight, you tell that I don't give two Fs. That's who I want to fight. Let your nuts drop. You say you your own boss." And he obviously tagged the truth, Errol Spence. End of the quote. And those are some harsh words by Terence Crawford. So we're going to talk about it. How y'all doing, ladies and gentlemen? Pieces and blessings upon all my Akhis and all my sisters out there. Subscribe below if you're trying to get smarter by the minute. If you're trying to get dumb about a second, don't. And listen to these casual fans / old media. And shout out to DBN and Dante for starting the new media wave. And let's get straight to it. Funny enough, Split Decision episode 16 was mainly about this topic. So if you missed it, go back and check it out. That's a legendary episode. It's a boxing debate show / talk show. However, Terence Crawford is coming with full force. Obviously, yesterday he called out all the welterweights, from Mikey Garcia to Danny Garcia to Porter and all the above. However, today he's focusing on Errol Spence. Now, obviously, y'all got to keep in mind, on Twitter, you have a lot of trolls, a lot of people that's basically hitting your page with all type of comments. Terence and Errol Spence deal with that daily. That's why Errol Spence responded today as far as stating, hey, I'm not ducking Terence. And we all know that's the truth. And the truth is not lying. That's a duh, it's obvious. Terence Crawford, on the other hand, he getting a lot of comments daily. So he have to react in that manner. However, he went far and beyond. Obviously, Errol Spence still kept it respectful. Terence Crawford went on another level. He went the disrespectful route. Now, from the outside looking in my opinion, Terence Crawford knows as much as I do that Errol Spence wants to fight with him. Just like he wants to fight with Errol Spence. It's just the business at hand. Errol Spence already told Terence what time it is. And even Terence Crawford, broski on live, stated the same thing I'm about to state, which is Errol Spence told Terence Crawford to his face and kept the same energy, which is, I'm going to clean my side of the street, then I'm going to come see you. So Terence know what time it is just as much as Errol does. Obviously, the PBC fighters going to fight each other till they clean each other out. Then Errol Spence is going to face Terence. And that been the plan from day one, so he could have the leverage. Terence knows that, so he have to bite on the opportunities that's available, and that's a Ugas and a Porter. A lot of people are attacking him as far as that in particular. However, he addresses Errol Spence more so because that's the winner of the Errol versus Porter classic fight, right? So he's supposed to. And Terence also basically threw out there, or at least his broski, that if Porter wanted to fight with Crawford, then how come he didn't call out Crawford when he had the strap? But now, since he's coming off a loss and he have nothing to offer, he wants to fight Crawford. when he in a win-win situation. Now, Bud, on the other hand, he feel like he in a lose-lose situation because regardless of what he does and how he looks against Porter, if he doesn't dominate Porter, obviously they're going to compare his performance with Errol Spence. So he felt like he in a lose-lose situation with that fight in particular. That's why it's pointless to him. But y'all got to keep in mind that Porter against Errol Spence was a big fight, and it was the easy route for PBC. And it's an in-house fight and a big mega fight that sold like 350,000 pay-per-view. So at the end of the day, it was the right decision and the smart decision for Sean and the PBC. So of course he had to go that route. So since that's the case, Bud has to fight who's available. Danny Garcia is not as available as Sean, and he's not as interested either. Errol Spence is occupied. Manny Pacquiao, obviously, if he was going to fight Terence, he would have fought him when he was still with Bob Arum. So since that's the case, the longer Terence waits, Errol Spence's brand is growing in a linear rate. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Terence's brand is almost at a constant rate compared to an Errol Spence due to multiple reasons. One of the reasons, the lack of opportunities that he has on his side compared to an Errol Spence. Because one thing for sure, Errol Spence's brand keep growing. Not just because he's the bigger name, it's because he has these big fights to make at the PBC side. Terence doesn't have these big names. Every time Terence fights, from 2018 to 2019, he has the highest rates on ESPN when it comes to boxing from all the fighters in the sport. However, he does not have the big names to grow his brand, to sell on pay-per-view, because he re-signed with Top Rank. That's why a lot of people feel like that was a miscalculation by Terence the Bud Crawford. So for the moment, he has to fight who's available. And that's a Ugas, a Porter, the guys that's willing to fight him, because yes, he is high reward. However, he even a higher risk. So he has to take on these stylistically matchups that might not favor him according to the fans. And that's a Porter fight, which I believe that's going to be his next fight, because when people said that Terence Crawford was ducking Postal, he fought Postal next. When they told Terence, you ducking Flex Diaz, you're scared of him, he fought Diaz next. So this always been a routine, even the Gamboa fight, because when Mikey was uninterested in that fight, Terence stepped in and saved the day. So Crawford been doing this, and I feel like if Porter keep asking for it, and especially if Porter himself come out and ask for the smoke, then I believe Terence Crawford will step into the table and negotiate, and he's willing to eat with a Porter. So that being said, drop y'all comments below. And I already went in depth when it comes to this topic in particular, or these two topics from Errol and Terence. Check out Split Decision episode 16, where I went in depth and talked about basically everything that took place and the business aspect and all the above. So that being said, I believe they just hyping up the fight. Obviously, it's the fight of the decade, so they should be hyping up the fight. At least they talking about it. Unlike Canelo, who's not mentioning the Andres and the Charlos, and those are the Terence and the Bud Crawford of his division. However, Canelo will try to convince you that they not a challenge, right? So it's like the murderers row fighters against the hopeless fighters at the middleweight division all over again. So that being said, unlike Canelo, Terence and Errol Spence, they at least going back and forth. They not afraid to fight each other because they cut from the same cloth. Unlike Canelo Alvarez, who's not willing to face the Andrade and the Charlos of his division. So obviously they're going to have to face each other, because if they do wait on Canelo, they will be waiting forever. So might well fight each other. However, the topic of the day is Terence and Errol Spence. And like I said, I believe that fight will take place 2020 or even 2021. I went more in depth about it on Split Decision episode 16. So be on the lookout for that. Go ahead and click on the notification bell to get notified every time we post to go live on Split Decision. Go ahead and subscribe below if you're trying to get smarter by the minute. If you're trying to get dumb by the second, don't, and listen to these casual fans. And the only reason I brought up Canelo is because all these people want to put pressure on Terence and Errol. However, they don't put the same pressure on Canelo, who's not fighting neither Andrade or Charlo. and that's the best in his division that will define his legacy and career, even according to his promoter, Oscar De La Hoya, and Chavez, and Marquez, and Morales, and Barrera. So these are legendary fighters. These are things they saying, not what the Akhi is saying. I'm just co-signing everything they stating. Basically, they agreeing with new media, and they want to be part of the new media. So shout out to DBN, shout out to Dante for starting the new media wave, and to be continue on the next episode of Akhi TV. But till then, follow Lunatune Boxing for the funniest boxing memes. That's my broski, that's my Akhi. Go ahead and follow him on Instagram. I will leave his IG in the description box below. So keep it a G and follow my man. He too part of the new media wave that Dante created. And also, if you want to be dripped up like the Akhi be on Split Decision, go ahead and cop that Akhi merch in the description box below as well if you want to be dripped up like the Akhi. So when you do call in, we're going to announce your boxing record as far as how many debates you won or lost. And then obviously show a picture of you with the Akhi drip on. So appreciate all the love and support, and peace, and we out here.